Welcome back to this channel. I'm Romica Spiegl-Jones. I'm an illustrator and designer based in Manchester. And today I will talk about my travel preparations for Bologna Children's Book Fair. Woo! Which is from the 26th of March until the 29th of March. I'm really looking forward to this. This is my first time going there and I want to share with you my travel tips on how I prepare for this trip. One is the accommodation and one is the flight. First, accommodation. I booked my accommodation first just because I have a feeling that because it's such a popular fair, that accommodation will be gone really quickly. So if you haven't booked your accommodation yet, I would highly recommend you to book it soon, because I can believe that the places fill up really quickly. And the service I use for booking my accommodation is AirBnB. This is not a sponsored video, I'm just a total fan for AirBnB. And I have a coupon code which you can use. So you get, I think, you get 25% credit when you sign up. And once you book a journey over £55, it could be anything, dollars, whatever, then I get £15 myself. So I really believe in this site. I think it's very wonderful to book holidays. Maybe it's not for everyone, but I will talk about it now, how I booked it and what I think about it, because I've used it for quite a few years now and I'm a big fan. What are the pros and cons of Airbnb? Well, I would say the pros are definitely that you can stay somewhere that is almost like a home, but it's clean, it's nice, you have a local you can talk with if you need to, and you can talk as little or as much as you want. That really depends on what kind of accommodation you book and who you are as a person and the host. So it's basically, it's private hosting and I really love this. My first Airbnb experience was in Wales and the most lovely lady hosted us. We actually only had a room and amazing breakfast, really great host. People really know their way around and I love that place. It was more beautiful than a hotel, I tell you. And she had two cute little dogs. Every Airbnb experience so far we had was good, actually was great. And sometimes we didn't even see the host at all. Sometimes we stayed just in a room, sometimes we had a whole place to ourselves, so that's something that's really cool. Airbnb has amazing search features and filters. And these filters really help you to get what you want. So that's something I really like about Airbnb, because, for example, if you want to rather have a cheaper place and you don't mind staying only in the room and interacting a little bit with the host, you know, sharing the kitchen and stuff like this, then then you can specifically look for a room. And if you want to have a whole place to yourself, you're more private, which I sometimes prefer, sometimes not. For Bologna I wanted to definitely have a whole apartment to ourselves. I'm going with my mom and that's how I searched for it. So the search features and filters are really great. You can search if you want a kitchen, if pets are allowed or not, all these different things. Before you start your search though, I would really highly recommend that you set the date range when you want to go to this specific place, because otherwise it will show places that might not be available for that date range, and that's kind of pointless to look at these things then, except you want to look at beautiful places. What I also highly want to point out is that it's a two-way relationship. So compared to normal booking sites where you are just, you know, you're the client and you get served basically by this hotel and then you leave again, Airbnb is really about a relationship. So when you request to book, not always, but often, you would start a personal conversation, say, okay, who I am, what's my reason for this journey, and you can ask questions to the host before you book. And I think that's really cool because for me, I need to always find out if there's cats or have been cats in this place, because I'm really highly allergic to cats, unfortunately, and that's a big problem for me if there is a cat around or has been, because cat hair and saliva, unfortunately, is just, and I don't know, there's so many aspects that I'm allergic to, unfortunately, so I really need to be 100% sure. And now you can always start this conversation at the bottom of the page when you have selected the property or a place you like, then you always contact the host before you make a booking request. And that has, one time I haven't done this, I've booked and then I realized, oh my god, I didn't ask, and unfortunately the place actually had cats, so I had to get it refunded. And save yourself that hassle. And if you have any requirements, special requirements, or you have questions, always contact the host first before you obviously make your booking. And yeah, sometimes it's important to ask anyway, just to be sure, especially for example for me, for the cats, because it could be life-threatening for me. So it's not enough to just say if they don't allow pets, because this doesn't mean that there haven't been any pets, for example their own pets there. So I think it's very important to ask, always ask. So that's the nice thing about Airbnb, that you can have this communication before. And this is the reason why, is also because this is a person that lets you into their private space. You know, you're a stranger to them, so it's definitely higher risk for them. So give them a chance to get to know you a little bit. I usually write who I am, what I do, that I'm traveling with my husband, or for example this time with my mother. And the host that where we booked now, she's amazing, and she lives in the same apartment block. So I know that we have our own space, but we can always communicate with her, which I think is really good. Like I said, it's a relationship, so after you've finished your stay, the host will be able to review you as well, which is, I think, a very interesting feature. So I think this really helps hosts to protect themselves from bad guests. So if a guest would, for example, be rude or, you know, destroy things, or, you know, then they can also say, excuse me, but this person, you know, did this and this. So it's not to blame or shame, but it's to be just transparent, because other hosts will also let this person in their home, you know. So it's good and important that you get reviewed as how do you say, as someone staying as well. And so far, yeah, I don't know, it's been a really good experience, and it's very nice. We've actually made friends on a trip to Jersey, and we can go there and meet them even if they don't offer Airbnb anymore. So that's how amazing that can be. So don't worry about that. It's just you review how you felt, if it was accurate and all these things, and they will say that you have been a nice, clean yeah, how to say, person that stayed there. I just can't think of the name at the moment. Yeah, guest. So there's a map feature, which I think is very helpful, and that's what I used for my trip for Bologna. I basically typed in the city name, Bologna, and then you will see a map of Bologna. And what I looked out for, I basically researched first, where's the Bologna fair. It's called Bologna Fiera di Bologna, sorry, and Exhibition and Trade Center, and you can find that on Google Maps. And I think it also shows up on the Airbnb map. And then you can look for properties for that date range that still offer hosting, and you see the price. Don't be fooled by the price, because sometimes the final price can be different, because some people add a cleaning fee. So sometimes maybe the property is quite cheap, but in total it might be more expensive than a place that looks more expensive in the beginning. So just check whatever you are most likely willing to pay, and look at different properties. And people also always introduce themselves, the hosts, and you will see if they can speak English or not, or if they can only speak Italian, or whatever language you need to speak with them. And that's basically, you can get to know them a little bit. You will not know the exact address. That's only something you get after you've confirmed your booking and you've paid. Yeah, which I think is good. It's safe, but you know kind of approximately the location. So I wanted to be about 10 minutes walk from the fair, because I feel yeah, I would rather be able to walk there and walk back to our place when we need to rest. Also, my mom can't walk like so long. So yeah, I think that's really good to think about. Do you want to be closer to the fair? Do you want to be closer to the airport? How well connected is that place? And that's why I really highly recommend really read the descriptions and the house rules before you make any commitment. And by knowing what your priorities are, if you want to be closer to the city center or to the fair or all these different things, you can make a really good decision. So like I said, I really highly recommend Airbnb. It has been, I only travel with Airbnb now because I have had the most incredible encounters with people, or also not encounters, and just the most beautiful place to stay. And yeah, be safe, be careful, trust your gut instinct, of course, you know, strange people are everywhere, you know, unfortunately. Be safe and just communicate a lot, and I think you'll have an amazing trip. There are also some safety rules from the Airbnb. I would highly recommend looking at them, but otherwise you'll be fine. I only had good experiences. And like I said, I have a travel link, a coupon code that you can use. I think it's a link, and if you sign up through this link, then you get £25 or whatever equivalent that is in your currency when you sign up, which you can use. And if you booked your first trip, which would be over the same or over £55, then I will get £15 myself for recommending you. So this I'm not getting, otherwise I'm not sponsored to do this video, and I really hope you enjoy your trip to Bologna. And before I end this video, I just quickly will say how I booked my flight. I used checkfelix.co.uk, but I think there's also .com, there's .de for the German speakers among you. I think it has many different languages, so just Google checkfelix. Just checkfelix. And this is an amazing site. Basically it shows you all the different travel options, all the different airlines and deals that are on for that flight. So I checked basically Manchester, Bologna, the date range, I arrive on the 25th, I leave on the 29th, and the best flight. And you can even search for how many times you want to stop, if you want to have a non-stop, when you want to arrive, when you want to leave, how much it should have cost approximately. You have so many different filters, and you can book directly from that site, which will then forward you to whichever provider is offering that flight. And I've got a really good flight. I have paid £122 flying over the Netherlands, and then I think I have enough time to change flights, and then I have a direct flight back home to Manchester, which I think is amazing. So if you haven't booked your flight yet, it might be a really good time to look now. Flight prices always change, but yeah, it's always better to look a bit earlier. So I really hope that was helpful to you. If you're traveling to Bologna Children's Book Fair, yeah, it would be nice to meet you, to meet fellow children's book illustrators or authors. So yeah, let me know if you found this helpful, and I'll see you soon. Bye!